Welcome back to episode 3 of the 1005 experience. Today we are diving and we found a giant snapper spawn. There was probably 10,000-15,000 mangrove snapper on this giant rock. We're in 65 feet of water, and this is Julian. Julian's down there right now looking for a fish to shoot. The problem is, when there's so many fish like this, it's just so hard to pick out a fish to shoot. All these fish are between probably 13 and 15 inches, so they're nothing giant. All of them are legal, but they're all doing their thing, and he decided he just was going to look at them all, see how they acted, and then go up and decide if he's going to take anything or not. Alright, so the very next dive, Julian gets a breathe up, and then he's on his way down. And there's a bunch of smaller snapper that come up to him. These are probably 8 to 10 inches long. They're just kind of coming and checking him out. And as you can see, they've thinned out a little bit. They kind of know what's going on. But some of them are still here. And he's trying to pick one out right now, just kind of trying to find the biggest one out of the group. And he found that one and took the shot. So Julian pulled that fish to him real fast, just so it kind of limits the shark activity, and he ran back up to the surface. Now that he's up, he is dispatching the fish, and one of our other buddies is down there. He just shot a fish. And on this next dive, Julian heads back down, and we usually don't take too many fish off the snapper spawn spots that we find, just because we want to let them do their thing and make more snapper for the future. So we were just kind of doing a couple more dives, checking things out, seeing if there were any giant fish in there, and they all seemed to be about 13 to 15 inches. So we only took a couple fish off the spot and we kept moving. So in this next spot, we moved kind of shallower, kind of 40 feet of water. Julian lines up on this mutton snapper. He waited for him to get broadside and took the shot and hit him. And then Julian grabbed hold of the fish and dispatched him and threw him in the boat. So this next spot was the same spot. We just did another dive. Usually we gut our fish throughout the remains, and other stuff will come in and eat the scraps. And Julian found this zero mackerel and took the shot. Now these fish are really good for sashimi and also bait as well. So when we dive, usually the smaller ones that we shoot, we will chunk up for bait and kind of let them float down, and it'll attract mutton snapper and red grouper and stuff like that. So it's good bait, and we love shooting these. They're good to eat too. So for this next spot, we moved even shallower. Julian forgot to turn the GoPro on, but he's lined up on this yellow jack here and shoots them. These are really good to eat as well. We take them every once in a while when we can. There's a lot of small ones on the reef in these spots, but this was a nicer fish. Checks for sharks just to make sure no one's lurking around, and then brains and bleeds the fish. It helps with the quality of the meat and also allows sharks not to come in. Check out what's happening. Less movement. So for this next spot, it's the same spot, just moved down a little bit. Lining up on a mangrove that thinks he's a part of these little yellowtails and lines up on the mangrove. These spots this time of year are loaded with mangroves. They just swim around and they're great target practice and they're great eating as well. So for this next spot, we moved into about 15 feet of water. We have some spots with crazy coral heads and stuff like that. We're right off Marathon, Florida, so there's quite a bit of good structure. As you can see, there's a hogfish there, a turtle in the background. We usually find a couple nice hogfish on this spot. There's a lionfish at the top of the screen, stuck to the top of a rock. We did get him. It's encouraged to take the lionfish off the reefs. They do a lot of damage, so we went and got the pole spear and got him. So after we took that lionfish off, we got the pole spear and shot the lionfish. We came back to see if any other fish would come in on the rock after that commotion, and we were looking to see if a nice hogfish would come in. You can see there's a bunch of hogfish coming in right now to check Julian out, but unfortunately no big ones came in. But there are a lot of hogfish on this spot, so hopefully in the next few years these will be all legal and we can find them. And for this next spot, we are in about 40-ish feet of water. Julian's heading down. Make some grunting sounds. Usually there's some stuff that hides in the lobster traps, the abandoned ones, but Julian didn't see anything in there. There's a big old Goliath grouper staring at him there. Personally, I think they should open the season on these for a year. They are everywhere. Every spot we jump into, we always see a Goliath in the 30 to 50 pound range. They are everywhere in the Keys. So for this last dive, we moved back out to 60 feet. We were hoping to find a black grouper. Julian makes a dive now. And if you look at the bottom of your screen, you'll see a little black grouper. He's too small. There he is right there in the middle. He's just kind of coming down slow, seeing if anything comes his way, and makes a couple grunts. On these edges, there's usually some nice mutton snapper that come up. There's a black on the bottom, Another black grouper swimming towards them, but too small. Bunch of yellowtails. There's a lot of life on this spot, but just nothing worth shooting. So we did a couple more dives, didn't shoot anything, and we moved along. If you guys like these spearfishing videos, subscribe, and new videos are every Thursday at 6 p.m.